And when, verse 13, second sentence, or somewhere right. And when the man came into the city and told it, all the city cried. Not only, watch this, Sister Brown, that they lost 30,000, but God, the ark, the presence of God, was lost and was taken. And when Eli heard the noise of the crying, he said, "What meaneth the noise in tumult?" And the man came hastily and told him. Now Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes were dim, that he could not see. And the man said to Eli, "I am he that come out of the army, and I fled to the day out of the army." And he said, "What is there done, my son?" And the messenger answered and said, "Israel is fled before Philistines. And there have been also a great slaughter among the people. And they came two sons, and they two sons also, Hophni and Phinehas, are dead. And the ark of God is taken." And it came to pass when he made mention of the ark of God, y'all listen to me, that he fell back from off the seat backwards by the side of the gate, and he broke his neck, and he died. He told him that his sons had died. But now, when they said the ark was taken, the presence of God was gone, he fell back in his seat so hard, broke his own neck, and died. Oh. For he was an old man and heavy, and he had judged Israel for 40 years. And his daughter-in-law, Phinehas' wife, was with child, watch this, to be delivered. And when she heard the tidings of the ark of God was taken, and that her father-in-law and her husband was dead, she bowed herself and travailed, for her pain came upon her. She was pregnant, and all that news caused her water to break. And the baby started coming. Y'all see that? About the same time of her death, that the woman that stood by her said unto her, "Fear not, for thou hast borne a son." So she had pain enough that a boy was born, but she lost her life. Watch this. And the lady said to her, "You have a son." But she answered and said, neither did she regard it. She said, "Name the child Ichabod." Y'all see that? Saying that the glory is departed out of Israel. Do we see how important God is to people? The ark is gone. My father-in-law broke his neck. My brother-in-law is dead. My husband is dead. And I'm about to die. Here's the instructions. Name my boy Ichabod. That means that the glory of God has left us. And God will take care of the things that you put up against him in your life. And it make it almost seem like he's not even in your life. When we put things up against God, before God, I remember a story a pastor told us. He said he had a guest preacher at his church. And the guest preacher was kind of large. And on the back of the church where he was preaching at, there was a cross. And on the cross, they had Jesus hanging on the cross in the back of the church. And their guest preacher was kind of large. So when he stood up, the guest preacher blocked out Jesus on the cross. And one of the children asked, "Where is God?" Because he was so used to seeing it on the cross, the man had blocked the picture out of God, and he asked the question, "I see the preacher, but where is God?" Why? Because sometimes, watch this, Sister Harris, sometimes we put things in our lives that blocks out God. Oh. He said, name him Ichabod. The glory, verse 21, is departed from Israel because the ark of God was taken and because her father-in-law and her husband. And she said, the glory is departed from Israel, for the ark is taken. So now Israel no longer has the ark. It is in enemy hands. Y'all know where we are now. There was a great slaughter, and now chapter 5. And we're about to end it up here, but you'll see what happens in this story. The Philistine took the ark of God and brought it from Ebenezer unto Ashdod. And when the Philistine took the ark of God, they brought it in the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. The presence of God is now by their evil god statues called Dagon. And when they of Ashdod arose up early in the morning, verse 3, chapter 5, behold, their god Dagon was fallen upon his face to the earth before the ark of the Lord. Y'all see what's happening? They have this big, back then, those statues had a horse head with a human body, or an animal head with a human body, and they made them big. And that's what they worship. It's almost coming in church, and you see a big stature of a human body that was cut, and then an animal head on it. And they worship Dagon. And they brought the ark of God and set it right beside Dagon. And they left for the night. When they came back the next day, Dagon fell right on his face. How did that happen? Watch this. Watch this. Didn't I tell y'all stuff falling in your life? Didn't I say y'all stuff that you put beside or above God is going to fall in your life? Watch. Verse 4, and when they arose early on the morning before Dagon was fallen upon his face to the ground, before the ark of the Lord. And the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were cut off. Now let's go back, because this is, watch this, the first night. Verse 3 says, they took Dagon after he had fallen. The first day they came back, they set him back up again. So he was still intact the first time they came in there. And they said, what's happened? Our God has fallen. And they set him back up. He was still in place. Now number 4 tells us that when they arose up the next day, they went back, and he had fallen to the ground on his face again before the ark of the Lord. Y'all see that? And the head, this time, of Dagon and both of his palms were cut off upon the threshold, and only the stump of Dagon was left to him. Therefore, neither the priest of Dagon nor any that come into Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod until this day. They said, well, I ain't going back in there. Because nothing going to be able to stand by God. Not what we lift up in our life. Not even us can stand by God. They tried once. He gave them one. He said, get this statue out there or get me out of here. Fell on his face. The other time, it was cut the head off, cut the palms off. He said, don't even try it. Put it up again. Don't you know you've tried stuff over and over in your life, and it hasn't worked? Know why? Because you put it above God. Scheme after scheme, plan after plan. You didn't include God. You didn't, and you made it, okay, God, if I don't do this, then oh, no. Nothing is greater than God. Let's see what happens. Verse 6. But the hand of the Lord was heavy upon them of Ashdod, and he destroyed them and smote them with emerods, even Ashdod and the coast thereof. God was now winning the battle for Israel. And when the men of Ashdod saw that it was so, they said, the glory of God shall not abide with us, for his hand is so upon us, and Dagon, and upon Dagon our God. That's why, remember I told y'all, it's going to be hard once you're a child of God for people to mess with you. Yeah. And your job is to pray for people. Yeah. Because they know not what they do. That man said, look, we have a problem here. Although we took and we smite 30,000 of the Israelites, and we took what we thought was their greatest help. It was their greatest help. But now it is coming against us. So we have a problem. See, you ain't got to fight people. God will make it so uncomfortable for them to be around you because you act godly. You know, the devil can't stand when you act godly. Yeah. You know, you're with the devil when you argue back, when you cuss back. But when you act in love, oh, the devil don't like that. When you love those who despitefully use you, no, the devil don't like that. When you turn to the other cheek, the devil don't like that. When somebody cusses and you don't cuss back and you just say, God bless you, oh, that's going to make somebody mad. You're starting a big fight when you don't react like people want you to react. Yeah, 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 yeah. You got to make sure that you tell yourself, I ain't doing that. I ain't going that way, and you're not going to get me to go that way. My mama used to say, you're not going to make me mess up my religion. I don't know if they said, no, you're not going to make me mess up my religion. You're not going to get me off my God game. And people will try. Yeah. And situations will try to get you off your God game. He said, man, we're in trouble here. Y'all went out there, and I know we won a so-called battle out there, but now y'all brought the wrong thing back. And now the Lord was destroying everything in Ashdod. So what is the result when the devil is losing? Verse number 8. They sent, therefore, and gathered all the lords of the Philistines with them, and said, what shall we do with the ark? Because that's the thing that's causing the trouble. It is the presence of God. That's the thing that's hurting the enemy. That's the thing that's blessing the saints. That's the thing that's keeping us housed, and that's the thing that's putting food on our table. What are we going to do? And that's the devil's biggest gripe. What are we going to do with their relationship with God? And they answered, and they said, let the ark of God be carried about unto Gath. And they carried the ark of God of Israel about thither. And it was so that after they had carried it about, the hand of the Lord was against that city with a very great destruction. And he smote the men of that city, both small and great. And they had emerods in their secret parts. Therefore they sent the ark of God to Ekron. Ekron. They are sending this thing everywhere. Nobody wants the presence of the Lord. Nothing can stand, nothing evil can stand in his presence. Yeah. Look, that's why, watch this. I want to put a new definition, watch this, Mother Roz, to this word. Get your house in order. Y'all heard that before, right? I'm going to tell you something. When you think about get your house in order, what you're thinking about is I'm going to go home and, fix up and get my house and what. No, what the Lord is saying is get you in order with me. And when you go home, your house will automatically get in order. Whatever's at home will have to adjust to the presence of God. Y'all see what I'm saying? That you have brought in the house. Yeah, How can you get your house in order and you're not in order? I remember my brothers and them, we come home after church, they sitting on the porch. I said, why y'all sitting on the porch? Why y'all in the house? Mama said we had to leave. You know why? My grandmama put them out the house. If they didn't want to go to church, they got to go out the house. He said, you know, Grandma. And this lady was about this tall, 4'9", and everybody was scared of her. She was a holiness preacher.
You talking about
Yeah. You know, remember that's Sister Brown? She remember her grandmother? A fiery preacher. And she was, y'all get out. If you ain't going to church, then go outside. Yeah, that was true. She said, until I come back in here, I don't want nobody in here. But when I come back in here, I'm coming back with the Lord. I'm coming back with the Lord. That's why you got to be on your Lord game when you go anywhere, because you're carrying the Lord. Greater is he that's in me. Some places, yeah, watch this. Some places you go, you don't know if the Lord's there. All you know is when you get there, the Lord gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who's saved in that place. The Lord might send you in a place that nobody's saved, you're the only one saved, and somebody got saved because he was there.
I'm like, Lord, you put me up there with them heavy hitters.
Oh. Anybody been in a place where you know ain't nobody in here saved? Because I hear more cussing, more fighting, more this, more that, and God, thank you for having me here. Oh, somebody ought to be hearing me tonight. We almost.
My phone not muted.
What day you preach?
Huh? Therefore, they sent the ark of it to Ekron, and it came to pass as the ark came to Ekron, and the Ekronites cried out, saying, they have brought about the ark of God of Israel to us to slay us and our people. This thing been going everywhere. So they sent and gathered together all the lords of Philistines and said, send away the ark of Israel and let it go back to his own place. That it not slay us and our people, for there was a deadly destruction throughout all the city, that the hand of God was very heavy there. They cried, and let me tell you what happened. They dressed the ark back up. They did not take it down into Israel, for they would have another fight on their hands. They put it on a cart. They turned the cart toward Israel, and they pushed the cart. And the cart took the ark back to Israel. Because nothing could stand before God. Not Dagon, not the people. Look, the people of Ashdod or Ashdod also died. Let me tell you something. This is going to be interesting to you. or this is going to be, I need this to be understood. You endanger, not having a relationship with God, you endanger everybody in your house. Yes, yes, you know what I mean? Having a relationship with God, you can save everybody in your house. That's why Joshua said, because I am in line with you, me and my house, we shall serve the Lord. Yeah. He was telling, the Lord was tearing up everything, everybody they put beside him, everybody they put in front of him. The presence of God. Remember, I told you, when people come into the church, they want to stay. And people leave, and you know you don't see them no more. The reason why they leave is not, they love the music. They love the preaching. But they don't like the presence of God, because in the presence of God, you've got to change. Yeah. Watch this. People don't like to change. You can't stand in his presence and be the same long. Your heart going to be pricked. Your mind going to change. Your feelings are going to change. And if you don't want it, baby, sugar, honey, daddy, you get out of here. Because the Lord will do something to you. I have seen grown men in our services break down who said, I never cried. The next thing you know, I see a tear. I said, welcome to the party, pal. The hardest man, God softens the heart. And the hardest women, God softens the heart. You stay in here long enough, there will be a tear. You stay in here long enough, you will clap your hands. You stay here long enough, you will raise your hand and worship God. In other cities, Dr. Edge, they were saying, why you bring this thing over here? Why you bring God? And I'm sorry for you all, because people are going to always say, oh, here come Jesus. When you come around, you're going to say, you go, oh, look, don't, they're going, all they're going to talk about is God. Yeah, they when I heard them say that about me, here come Jesus. I said, okay. You know what I love to hear? When somebody say, oh, hey, you just think you holy. Yeah, holy. And I be like, thank you. Thank you. I must be making an impact. I must be doing something at the church. I must be changing. If you look on me and says, I am trying to live holy, that's a compliment. That's never a put down. Somebody say, oh, here come the Holy Roll. Oh, thank you. You think that of me. Then I am doing something right at church, and in my studies I'm doing something right, because that's what you see. So yeah, wise, don't stop talking about the Lord, because that's what they see. They ain't looking at you, they seeing the Lord. Anybody with me this day? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The Lord is number one. He ain't going to stand with nobody. And he ought not. Oh, yes, have your doctors, but have the ark with you. Oh, yes. Go in your surgeries with your doctors. But that ark better be over in the corner, Jack. Oh, yes. You look and you see the ark. You say, I'm all right. Go on and put me to sleep. The ark of the covenant is with me. The promise of God is with me. The presence of God is with me. The progress and the prosperity of the Lord is with me. Oh, I've got the ark. Now, class, tomorrow when you get up, take that ark with you. Wherever you go, take the ark of God. The ark represents the presence of God. I don't care where you are. The greater is he that's in you. You got the Lord with you. Act like God is with you. Be confident. Have power in your life. Edge, when you go and bury your brother, go with power. Go with God. You might save somebody. You might preach a eulogy, and you might preach some salvific sermon that helps somebody in your family that has never been saved before. I love y'all this much that every Sunday I come in here and preach, but I got to share a little bit of secret with you. Sometimes, or a lot of times, I don't preach to y'all. You are the beneficiary of the preacher, but I'm preaching to the one that never stepped a foot in church. I'm hoping the one that always negated God. I'm hoping that there's someone in there that never heard a sermon in their life. And says, I was just walking up on Washington Road and I just saw all the cars and I came through. What is this, a church? Let me hear what you got to say. Yeah. Sometimes I want somebody to join church that has never been churched, that has no hope. Know why we put God first, and we tell them that God has no equal. Nothing can stand before it, above it, or with it, nor can it stand against it. Take your ark with you tomorrow. It represents the presence of God. Go in peace, not in pieces. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Thank God. Woo. Thank God for the numbers tonight. Y'all numbers are increasing. God bless you. Amen. Keep coming to Bible study. Bible study is different. Yes. It's different than Sunday morning. If I was given, let me tell y'all this, if I was given a task as pastor that either I had to preach, I can only preach on Sunday morning, or I can teach on Wednesday. I'm sorry, I would choose teach on Wednesday. Yeah. Know why? Because that's where it's important for you to sit down, take your notes, and learn. I'd rather be responsible. Sunday morning is a whole different production or whatever it is. You got to go through a lot. And, but here we can study the word. Amen. And tonight, tonight God says to us, make sure that he's first. Nothing's beside him. Nothing's, everything is God first. Go in peace, not in pieces. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.